Good afternoon, and welcome to this very special occasion on the retirement after 40 years of service to McKillop United Church as organist and pianist, our good friend Marilyn Sinclair. Please welcome Marilyn. I'll be your host for this concert. I know most of you, but if not, my name is Ken Rogers. I have been the choir director here at this church for 29 years, so Marilyn and I have worked together for almost 30 together. And as you can see, we've got a lovely program for you. If you didn't get a name tag on the way in, this is Marilyn's orders. You've got to get one on the way out. Okay, don't forget that. And now's a really good time to turn those phones off, please. And we're going to start our concert with our McKillop Choir, who is hosting this event today in honor of Marilyn. We're going to sing Jubilate Deo for you, one of Marilyn's favorites. Dale Wood wrote the organ part, and Marilyn would always say he knows how to write good pipe organ parts. So we hope you enjoy this first piece from Psalm 100. As you can see in your program, we have many tributes in song and music for Marilyn today, but we also have lots of tributes and memories from people from Marilyn's time here at McKillop and also beyond. I'm going to invite our choir to find a seat to enjoy the show and welcome up Trevor Potter, McKillop's minister. Trevor.
Before I say anything to you, Marilyn, I want to thank Ken Rogers for all the work he's done today. I don't know if anybody else would have said, but Ken, you're the driving force around today, and so thank you for this tribute and celebration of you, Marilyn. Just a few things. When I think of words for you, Marilyn, I think of talented and giving and generous and knowledgeable. And I felt bad the way COVID came in the pandemic, and then we're all gone, and then Marilyn was in retirement. So I'm really glad we have this day to say thank you to you and to honor your gifts that you've given us at McKillop. for so long, and other places, because you've been a musician probably when you came out of your mother's womb, I bet you. So, a couple of things. I know personally, because Marilyn told me so, Alex Lawson was your favorite minister here at McKillop. So we'll just get that straight as we're here today for all us ministers speaking. You had a fond memories of him and working with him. And, working with you, Marilyn, was so wonderful. I don't know if, on various times we would either have like two weddings and two funerals on a Saturday, or 2 funerals and a wedding on a Saturday. And Marilyn, you just had the ability to transition between them all and hold it all together. I think in the younger days you talked about even having like 4 or 5 weddings on a Saturday, which you played for. 7 is your record. At First United Church. I also remember all the Christmas Eves we've spent together. You and I did not spend them with family. We had 3 services, going to eat quickly in between. And so, I think of all the sacrifice and the gifts you've given, Marilyn. And also, I really appreciate one other thing you've done in my time of being minister here, is that you really built a legacy. And you knew you were going to retire one day, and your legacy is, his name's John Paul. You convinced ministry and personnel and church council that we needed to get him on staff before some other church gobbled him up. And so, every Sunday I see John Paul as your legacy and your time here too. And so, you've given us the gift of music at McKillop. You've influenced generations, Marilyn. Your gift of music has been a spiritual and emotional gift to so many. So thank you as the last minister here that you've worked with. Thank you, and blessings on your retirement.
And besides Alec Lawson, we have greetings and memories coming from 3 other former ministers from McKillop this afternoon as well. I welcome to the lectern Eric Bremer. Marilyn and I know there are basically 3 bodies we come into contact with as church musicians. We work with our ministry and personnel committee at the church. We work with our worship committee in designing worship services and talking about music. And we work with our church council, the main governing body. And Eric is here representing our worship committee, our M&P committee, and our church council. Eric.
Well, good afternoon, and yes, it is a pleasure on behalf of M&P and Council, and really all of McKillop, to just provide a few words. I got a few excerpts from different people. I'm just going to give a short version of them, and I have more in your card that I'm going to give you later. But one of of course, was the big thing was that you were among our most dedicated and your committed staff persons for those 40 years, and we really noticed that. And you rarely missed a Sunday. And on top of that, you also donated money, and you made sure that these piano and this organ stayed good. And yeah, that's really quite the legacy. Some of the people who on our M&P were also, of course, in the choir, and here's some that I got from them. So Marilyn was always there and ready to help any of us with whatever direction we needed for the music and interpretation of meaning we wanted to impart when singing. I found her invaluable with how to adjust my voice to get the meaning across. She cared about what was needed. Music has been her life, and she's been very true to her beliefs. Thank you, Marilyn, for your dedication to us all for these years. And then from another member. As a choir member, her love of music spilled over at every practice and service. Throughout my life, I have had a few music teachers who impacted me for life with their love of music and ability to draw that love of music from me. But the Marilyn and Ken connection have also done that for me. And that is a blessing given to me, and I will be forever grateful. Thank you, Marilyn. It's from Maria. And a final from her. Apart from you being an incredible musician, you are a woman of grace, dignity, and humility. And from all of us, we thank you for all of that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're going home with lots of flowers, Marilyn. Prepare. Each piece of music on the program is there for a reason. The performer has a history with Marilyn. And this next piece of music, I had asked one of Marilyn's former piano students, who is a prominent singer in Lethbridge, to sing, and she was on deck until 2 days ago. She got a nasty summer cold and couldn't sing. So Jamie Jarvie sends her regrets today, unable to sing. And one thing Jamie said is she and her sister would have a little, I don't know if you knew this, Marilyn, but Jamie said in an email to me, she credits you for her ability to read music as a singer, which can be rare, as you may know. And she said she and her younger sister have a running joke to this day where they still say in Marilyn's tone, read the notes. So thanks to you from Jamie. I'm going to sing a piece that represents Marilyn's work with countless soloists over the years in this city and beyond. And I think one person that comes to mind first when I see Marilyn playing for a singer is Michael Coffin. And Michael's no longer with us, but the song that just rung into my ears immediately yesterday when I picked a song was Bless This House. And I think it will have meaning for your home and also this house here today.
Bless this house, O Lord, we pray. Make it safe by night and day. Bless these walls so firm and stout, keeping want and trouble out. Bless the roof and chimneys tall. Let thy peace lie over all. Bless this door that it may prove ever open to joy and love. Bless these windows shining bright, letting in God's heavenly light. Bless the hearth a-blazing there, with smoke ascending like a prayer. Bless the people here within, keep them pure and free from sin. Bless us all that we may be fit, O Lord, to dwell with thee. Bless us all that we one day may dwell, O Lord, with thee.
and two longtime McKillop staff members. First, Judy Martz would like to share. Judy has been our office administrator for a long, long time, worked many years with McKillop. Yes, I won't say.
Good afternoon. I am the office administrator here at McKillop, and that is how Marilyn's and my relationship began and blossomed into a friendship over the years. It's been a pleasure working with you, Marilyn. I think it was 20 years. I always admired how you kept all the music and the titles and pieces that you played straight, especially while playing. This is coming from someone who cannot read a note, so yes, my admiration runs really deep. I enjoyed working with you to make sure the bulletin always went out correctly with the right pieces and composers' names, and the little dashes above the E, and that we had the right anthem piece. When I started at McKillop, you were a wealth of knowledge and helped me immensely to navigate who is whom in the church. Thank you. I come from Ontario, so I knew no one. I enjoyed our talks in the office, filling me in on your many adventures and places you had gone to while doing judication for so many different music festivals over the years and across Canada. I also know that they appreciated you as well. I remember a phone call or two in a panic because they couldn't get a hold of you and needed your expertise. And where was Marilyn? Not at home, not shopping, and not at her cabin. Where were you? In the sanctuary with one of the many, many students you taught. Marilyn, you were always silent, sitting back, going with the flow. But when you played, that is when people noticed, and you filled the room with your presence and your musical abilities. And we all went, wow, her fingers just glide so smoothly over the keys. And sometimes, which I never told you, and now I will confess, but when you would practice in the sanctuary, I would come out to the narthex and just listen as it filled my cup. I was one of the lucky ones that got to hear you unplugged. And the music you played was like a fine wine. And I know your playing has filled so many others with joy. Congratulations, Marilyn. Wow, 40 years at McKillop. That is an accomplishment. And I know how much McKillop has valued and respected you and your musical talent. I know I'm just one of many.
Marilyn's tenure overlapped with many clergy over the years here at McKillop, but one clergy member with whom she served their entire McKillop career was Terry Shillington. I invite Terry and Mary Shillington up.
Well, before I start talking, I'd like to say that I echo Trevor's remarks. Well said, and I can't say them over again. I'm not able to. But Marilyn and I have been down many a road together. We have honored the dead and blessed weddings and kept things kind of stitched together Sunday morning. And Marilyn has a gift that people don't always recognize. But when things were going crazy and we hardly knew what we were doing, Marilyn would soldier on musically so that most people thought we actually knew what we were doing. and so I feel like our bacon's been rescued many times. I just have a couple of snapshots. Mary will read the second one. I'd like to read the first one. just little snapshots that told me something. something about who Marilyn. Okay, we'll start again. Who Marilyn is and was. My first fall here, we had the break open Sunday in September with a meal afterwards, as was our habit at the time. And when it was over, the usual kind of chaos developed of packing up chairs and tables, and I'm a newbie in the room, and so I'm standing around trying to figure out what's going on. And I was intrigued to notice that one of the busiest people moving tables was Marilyn. I learned this later. This was a sign about who she was. She was more than just the organist. She was a member of the team. Whatever needed doing, Marilyn would be there in the middle of it. And I'm so thankful.
The second snapshot, which I'm sure Marilyn and her family will remember, the year that Al died, Marilyn arranged a special July event at their Cypress Hills cottage. We would bury both his ashes and those of his favorite dog, plus plant a tree beside their cottage. We were honored to be included. So myself, Dason, and Terry would stop in as we headed out on our July camping holiday. About 50 to 70 friends and family were gathered. It was a ragtag group, I'll tell you. And the ashes, which were stored in a huge old leather shoe. Terry did the reading and the words of committal. Sons John and Gabe then took the shoe and placed it in the hole. As Terry stepped back, his role complete, he realized, to his horror, that 6-year-old Dason had been by his elbow the whole time. In his boyish curiosity, he remained peering down in the hole as the two men laid the shoe to rest. Terry whispered in horror, "Dason!" Two things happened. Dason ignored me, which was usual. Marilyn said to me quietly, "Don't worry, it's okay." I reflected later, that was so typical of Marilyn. A special holiday moment, but she was also comfortable with the unexpected and the curiosity of a boy, probably related to raising 2 boys herself. She could let things happen naturally and enjoy the humor and surprise of the moment. It didn't all have to go according to script. She was and is a special person. We are so gifted and blessed to have served with her for so many years. Thank you very much, Marilyn.
Thanks, Mary and Terry. Our next piece of music is Toccata, Psalm 146, and we have a former student of Marilyn's, Maria Barwigan, here to play this piece on organ for us. Thank you, Maria. I'm so glad you could come play today. Your music is a testament to Marilyn's legacy. Our next tribute is from Sandy Burnell. Sandy's tenure as choir director here was also completely encompassed by Marilyn's career. Sandy.
Good afternoon, Marilyn. It's great to be here with you in this setting. You have shown me so many things, and I have learned so much from you throughout the years. I stepped in to be choir director after Hank had retired from this church. And coming in from an elementary choir to an adult choir was quite a step for me. And if it hadn't have been for Marilyn, I'm not sure how well I would have done, because she sure supported me and helped guide me through the ways. We did many things together during those 8 years, and I appreciated every one of them. The many concerts we would go to, November 11th at the Armory, Vespers with CGIT. 1 year, you even introduced me to a gentleman from Calgary who wanted to join our choir, and we did a piece called Zadok the Priest, and we sang it here, and then our choir went up to Calgary and sang it with them up there. Thank you for all of that. And I was not playing piano very many times, but there was one Christmas you asked if I would play piano organ duet with you at the piano. I thank you for trusting me to do it. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. But you followed me or came with me to Gilbert Patterson Middle School, and they thoroughly enjoyed having you there. The students loved you. They thought of you as one of their surrogate mothers. You went along on many of our trips to Banff, to Choral Fest South, both in Calgary. I think we even went to Edmonton once. And when I retired from teaching, I believe you worked with the students and you arranged at our final concert for a farewell to me with that time one of my favorite pieces, which was River in Judea. I want you to know there's much love and support for you, many memories, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you gave to me. Your musical ability was tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Sandy mentioned CGIT for non-United Church folk. That's Canadian Girls in Training. That's was a grade 7 to 12 girls group here at the church, and Marilyn was a faithful servant of McKillop CGIT. And my sister Diane is here to pay tribute on behalf of all those CGIT members and leaders.
Hello, Marilyn. I just want to ask you a couple questions first. I'm trying to remember in my head all the times we spoke. I would go for piano lessons for half an hour and we visited for 20 minutes. That's our Marilyn. It was great. Marilyn, were you a CGIT girl in Saskatchewan? Were you a member? Yes, you were. So you were a CGIT member, CGIT leader. Did you not go to the provincial Alberta CGIT camp the 1 year as a leader? You never did. Oh, okay. And so, to Waterton. So her history in CGIT is far back and deep. So we here at McKillop CGIT have so much to thank our CGIT friend Marilyn for. Marilyn, you happily joined us each year on Tuesday nights for weeks, not only to accompany the choir, but to also encourage and caringly guide us through many, many CGIT Vesper choir rehearsals for literally decades. 40 years ago, I became a CGIT leader the exact same year, so that was moving for me. I'm a rock, just like my brother. You'll find out. I have my... And then during my years as a leader, you would be a rock at each and every Saturday morning final rehearsal for Vespers. Marilyn, you would sit quietly at your organ, watching as we ran through the motions, and then only when it was dire information to the success of the Vesper service would you kindly guide us in the right direction. Thank you, thank you. You always tried very hard to find the time to support McKillop CGIT each time we asked. Playing for initiation in the sanctuary, being part of honoring our CGIT graduates each May, joining the department for our year-end banquet, and if needed, accompanying a song or two. You and your dear mom, Olive, supported the members at the CGIT Shamrock Brunch each and every year. I tried to remember the croissants for her, but I was not always successful. And then Marilyn finally being able to come along to the McKillop CGIT year-end camp at Cannon Church Camp. And Marilyn, that was just the icing on the cake. The best of times to be among those wonderful, talented young souls whom we had the privilege of watching becoming the girls God would have them be. Cherish health, seek truth, know God, and serve others. Marilyn, you were a perfect fit. Marilyn, from all your CGIT friends through all those years, we wish you a heartfelt congratulations on your retirement. And one last thank you to you from all of us for always wearing your favorite outfit, your CGIT midi. You were all you could be for McKillop CGIT. We were blessed to share the years and experiences with you. We love you, Marilyn. Thank you.
Music, Marilyn comes from a very musical family, and we are really pleased to have 3 generations of Marilyn's family here sharing music with us. The first group is, are they outlaws or in-laws? I don't know. They're darn good in-laws from both outlaws and in-laws, from Consort all the way here to share some family music with us. Please welcome Pat and Charlotte.
Check. Not sure what that was. One more. So I will say we've had many, many wonderful family gatherings at the cabin in the hills. And we've been there when there's been campers and people Marilyn hasn't yet met, but she welcomes them like family. And Friday night, Marilyn says, well, I'm off to bed because I have to go. I've got 4 weddings and a funeral tomorrow. I'll see you after church. 3.5 hours after church is over, I'll be back. And she was. And she would always hang in there as long as she could on Sunday night and enjoy her time with family. She is an amazing woman. So the other thing I haven't heard yet today is that I've seen Al and Marilyn on the dance floor. And they were beautiful. So we tried to pick a couple of tunes. Maybe her and Al might have danced too. And this is the first one.
Before we get started, I tell everybody this is a tenor guitar, so it's just got 4 strings, tuned like a cello or a viola. And I was looking at the lady getting the organ fired up there, and I think that's kind of like sitting in the cockpit of a 747 over there. So this is really basic. Memories that linger in my heart, memories that make my heart grow cold. Someday they'll live again, sweetheart, and my blue moon again will turn to gold. When my blue moon turns to gold again, when the rainbows turn the clouds away, when my blue moon turns to gold again, you'll be back within my arms to stay. The lips that used to thrill me so, your kisses were meant for only me. In my dreams we'll live them all again, but my golden moon is just a memory. When my blue moon turns to gold again, when the rainbows turn the clouds away, when my blue moon turns to gold again, you'll be back within my arms to stay. The castles we built of dreams together were the sweetest stories ever told. Maybe we could live them all again. Dark blue moon again will turn to gold. When my blue moon turns to gold again, and the rainbow turns the clouds away, when my blue moon turns to gold again, you'll be back within my arms to stay. You'll be back within my arms to stay.
All right, thank you. We chose the next piece. A lot of you may not know that Al's family came from a bunch of cowboys in the hills. And we have a wonderful picture that Pat, Al, and Marilyn loaned us, and Pat scanned it and did this beautiful picture of Marilyn's mother-in-law. She was a cook at a camp in the Cypress Hills in the summer, and this picture was her in the front of a chuck wagon with one of her brothers. This one's for Auntie Liza. Whoop, I gotta get rid of my cable. I'm not used to cheating. I'm getting arthritis in my fingers, so I'm having to learn to play a different way. Forgive my mistakes.
While I was out riding, graveyard shift midnight till dawn, the moon was as bright as a reading light, a letter from an old friend back home. He asked me, why do you ride for your money? Why do you rope for short pay? In getting nowhere and you're losing your share. You must have gone crazy out there. Tells me last night I run on to Jenny. married and has a good life. Oh, you sure missed the track when you never come back. She's the perfect professional's wife. She asked him, why do you ride for money? Why do they rope for short pay? In getting nowhere and they're losing their share. They all must be crazy out there, but they've never seen the northern lights, never seen a hawk on the wing, never seen spring on the Great Divide, and they never heard old Camp Cookie sing. Well, I read up the last of my letter, tore off the stamp for Black Jim. When Billy rode up to relieve me, just looked at my letter and then he grinned. He sang, now why do they ride for the money? Why do they rope for short pay? In getting nowhere and they're losing their share. They all must be crazy out there, but they've never seen the northern lights, never seen the hawk on the wing, never seen spring on the Great Divide, and they never heard old Camp Cookie sing.
John said 4 tunes, but I think 3 is enough for us. Thanks for asking us. We're honored to be here.
Oh, we're gonna have to try that again. Now the hacienda's dark, the town is sleeping. Now the time has come to part, the time for weeping. Vaya con Dios, my darling. Vaya con Dios, my love. Now the village mission bells are softly ringing. If you listen with your heart, you'll hear them singing. Vaya con Dios, my darling. Vaya con Dios, my love. Wherever you may be, I'll be tomorrow, but the memories we share are there to borrow. Vaya con Dios, my darling. Vaya con Dios, my love. Vaya con Dios, my darling. May God be with you, my love.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat and Charlotte, for that family music and for the family memories, too. I could see Marilyn and Al on the dance floor. Marilyn, I hope I have this story right. I loved at staff parties when Al would tell stories from back in the day. And I think I have this one right. If someone way back in Al's family got a cold, like everybody knows chicken soup is good for a cold, right? But for Al's mom, it wasn't good enough. Had to be prairie chicken soup. So Al's mom would go out, track down a chicken, chase it, kill it, and make prairie chicken soup. And Marilyn or Al said that solved the cold every single time. So anybody out there still do that? Yeah, go out and track down a prairie chicken, get rid of your cold. I love that story. I guess it's fairly accurate there. Our next music is a three-movement concerto played by Marilyn's successor on our organ bench, John Paul Kiosik. John Paul is a former student of Marilyn's, and there's even a third relationship here. When Marilyn retired from organ teaching, she still teaches piano, but when she retired from teaching organ here at the church, John Paul got her students as well. So there's a real triple relation there, as well as Marilyn bringing John Paul on well before she retired to be sort of a quarter-time organist so that Marilyn would have someone on deck, because she was away a lot adjudicating and examining, and so it was just really good to have an in-house assistant. And now John Paul has succeeded Marilyn, and again, as Trevor said, we thank you, Marilyn, for seeing that future for us here at McKillop. This is the concerto in G. It's in three short movements, allegro, grave, and presto, and the movements come right after the other, and we'll hold our applause till all three are done. John Paul. Thank you, John Paul. And on that note, I want to extend a personal thanks to Marilyn, who was so, pardon the pun, instrumental in getting this organ in our church many years ago. And that was a lot of work. And Marilyn knew this church should have an organ like that to fill this space. It used to be a tiny little thing in a hole way back here you'd have to crawl into. So thank you, Marilyn, for that. Appreciate it. Yes. And I'm a retired teacher, so a little learning moment here. Do you remember the part before the really loud last movement where John Paul took a moment and he's turning all the lights on? That's literally where the expression pulling out all the stops comes from. Those are stops in an organ, and when you pull out all the stops, there's a lot of sound. So next time you say, no, we should pull out all the stops on this project, that's where that comes from. We have greetings from 3 former clergy now. The first goes all the way back to Ross White, who was a youth minister here when I was in high school. Tammy went to school with one of their daughters and is still good friends with the family, so it makes sense with this connection. Greetings from Ross White.
Hello. First, you're going to get greetings from me, though. Marilyn, I am, my grandparents came here, my parents came here, my husband and I come here, and now my kids come here. So Marilyn has played for all of the big touchstone moments of my life. Perhaps my baptism. I'm not 100% sure. I was pretty little. I don't remember that. But for my wedding, for my grandmother's service, for all the baptisms of my children, and I've been singing in the choir for 3 decades almost now. I know I was like 5 when I joined, for sure. But anyway, so thank you, Marilyn, for all the musical moments you've bestowed upon me and the congregation. So anyways, from Ross, and I don't know, some of you may have met Ross over the years when he was a minister here, and I remember as a child thinking he's like the most fun adult I know, because he's like kind of like a big kid. And we actually last June got to go and spend a week with him and his wife Jeannie, and he's still like a big kid. So keep that in mind as I read Ross's greeting. Marilyn, her arrival was such a breath of fresh air for me. I was a young, know everything but know nothing minister, recently graduated, and had many strange music requests for the services I'd led. Alex would kindly refer to some of my worst of all time attempts as a dog's breakfast. But Marilyn bounced in and assured me, I'll play anything you want. This was quite the counterpoint to the church secretary at the time, Evelyn Mills, who, ribbing me, would say you were pandering to camp songs, and the choir director, Hank Van Echtern, would say, bless his heart, insisting that this rock and roll music will never last. But Marilyn simply looked up Moody Blues, and we were off. She may be retiring, but I say, play on, from Ross.
I should note Ross lives in Vancouver now. And greetings from Pender Island, off the coast of BC, from former Minister Gloria Miller, from Sheila and Joyce from our choir.
It's a privilege to be able to read Marilyn, or Gloria's presentation to you, Marilyn. She brings greetings from Pender Island and blessings to all who are gathered here this afternoon to honor one awesome, talented woman, Marilyn Sinclair. It was my privilege, she said, and pleasure to serve with her in a circle of ministry for 15 and a half years. She was a colleague and also a friend. We are the same age and have kept in touch with each other since I retired. Marilyn was often on Vancouver Island adjudicating at music festivals and always made a point of getting together with Craig and I. She even came to Pender once.
Marilyn is a feisty, and Marilyn is fun. She always kept the hymns moving right along and was comfortable and more than competent and creative with the full spectrum of music, from classical to contemporary to country and western and everything in between. I loved the time at a wedding we were doing when, rather than a regular recession piece, she belted out "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" on the organ. She remembered the groom had played baseball with her son Gabe. It was a really lively end to a beautiful wedding, and everyone loved it.
You could ask Marilyn to do anything. Wear a costume, be in a skit. She was always up for it. I remember a time when Gloria said she was giving a pastoral care presentation to a dying man. He talked fondly of his Sunday school days and a particular song. She didn't know the song, so she asked Marilyn to track it down and tape it for her. I was able to play it, she said, at his hospital bedside many times before he died.
Marilyn also has great organizational and leadership skills. One memorable summer, she took a team from McKillop and served as director at Canyon Church Camp for a week. She took her son John along as a leader, and also myself and my son Darren. Both of these young men had spent many years there as campers and now were qualified and mature leaders. It was a great week.
Marilyn's music was background inspiration as we all worked in our offices here at the church. She on the organ, practicing or teaching or going over wedding music with brides and grooms. And Marilyn was so wonderful at sharing her students' talents with all of us on a Sunday morning as guest artists. This gave them valuable experience at performing in public. Then there were those great organ duets from her and Myrna Green. So wonderful. Did you know that 15 and a half years Marilyn tried to get me to play duets with her too? I'm not that quality of a pianist, and thank goodness I escaped without having to disgrace myself.
Marilyn tells me she is still teaching piano. How amazing is that? And I'll bet she wins the prize for McKillop staff longevity, probably the longest serving member ever of the ministry staff. Music is a ministry, and Marilyn has done it well. Music touches the heart and body and soul in ways that mere words never can. Thank you, Marilyn, for the music you have gifted us with for over 40 years. And thank you for being my friend.
Blessings to all from Gloria Miller at Pender Island in the Salish Sea.
And Marilyn, I say hear, hear on keeping those tempos up. I appreciate that too. I loved your tempos, still do. Our third former clergy message comes to us from Saskatoon. Kathy Coates is a former minister from McKillop, and to read her words, we welcome Doreen Brazier from our choir.
Kathy worked with both Terry and Trevor, and she writes, Marilyn, a few memories. It's hard to just pick out a few. And after all those years sitting on the organ bench on Sundays, you know preachers and how we can go on and on. We laughed the hot day in August when the back door was open and a rabbit hopped into church. I'm not sure anyone else could see it. You may have played All Things Bright and Beautiful, All Creatures Great and Small. And we actually sang this morning in church, and I had to smile as I looked towards the back door and just imagined that little bunny hopping in here and saying, "Yikes, what have I come into?" Anyway, going back to Kathy's letter, and speaking of summer, how many Augusts were there? 5 Sundays. My years at MacKillop coincided with brides in sleeveless, strapless dresses. We held our breath as they walked down the aisle and compared notes afterwards. One wedding, the bride fell out of her dress. I rushed to stand in front of her so she could pull the dress back up, and you played the processional again. What a relief when straps came back into style. One of my great honors in ministry was celebrating your mum's life at the cemetery in Regina, and then sitting in a friend's living room, sharing memories, prayers, and scripture, and, of course, music. Last memory. Your gift of music was shared with people in ways that upheld them. You played, and like the wedding that Gloria mentioned, this is Take Me Out to the Ball Game at the funeral of a Blue Jays fan. You played music by female composers on a Sunday when I preached on women in the Bible. You played almost anything a wedding couple wanted. You played the music to Have You Seen the Muffin Man when I changed the words for children at the 4 p.m. Christmas Eve service. You even played Gershwin at the funeral of a longtime MacKillopite. May the coming years be filled with whatever brings you joy, because you brought so much joy to us. From Kathy Coates.
Former Minister Kathy Coates lives in Saskatoon now, and we have other greetings from Saskatoon. This is a real tradition in our choir. One of our former members has retired to Saskatoon to be closer to family, Joyce Temple. Some of you remember Joyce. She is 99 years old now, and I got in touch with her, and her tradition was to write a poem for special events in our choir. And Barb Ham got in touch with her as well and is going to read the poem for us. And Barb reports that Joyce said, when asked how she's feeling, she says, "Oh, I'm great from the eyebrows up." I like that expression. So here's a poem from longtime MacKillop Choir member Joyce Temple.
She followed that note with, "The rest of me is not so great." And this is Joyce's poem. Dear Marilyn's taken a very big place in the hearts of MacKillop, though few saw her face. But we in the choir loft, including her mother, saw expressions so varied there's really no other. She's always been helpful, she's never been late, and always willing to accommodate. To fit into the crowd so she wouldn't feel nervous, she bought a new MIDI for the Vesper service, CGIT that is. To end this long story and add to her glory, she gave organ lessons to 1 or to 40. But one of the bunch, most skillful of all, was the one we know best by the name of John Paul. Congratulations, love, Joyce Temple. Joyce was such a dear and sat in the choir for many, many years and was just a support to us all. Mentally and physically and personally, she was with us all. On a personal note, yes, MacKillop, you have always been ready to accommodate. I thank you, Marilyn, for all the times you have accompanied me. Weddings, funerals, solos in church. You generously make a soloist at their best. Thank you, Marilyn.
And we've heard several people play our organ this morning, and Marilyn is very responsible for our piano in our sanctuary as well. And I welcome Brooke Lee to play Nocturne for us. I don't think Brooke is here. So we will keep moving. I'm going to invite my wife, Christine, up, and she is going to bring some greetings and tributes to Marilyn on behalf of the Lethbridge Registered Music Teachers Association. Christine.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to speak on behalf of the Lethbridge branch of the Alberta Registered Music Teachers Association as we celebrate Marilyn today. Marilyn was a member of ARMTA for over 55 years. She was an extremely committed and valuable member of our group, serving as president of our local branch and volunteering countless hours to help with activities and recitals. She has been so generous with her time and expertise, always willing to answer questions and give advice to other teachers when needed. In addition to her contribution to ARMTA, Marilyn was involved with group piano classes in Lethbridge schools and organized the Piano Class Festival, again working countless hours to offer students and teachers another opportunity for learning. As an RCM examiner, Marilyn traveled the country and also offered students in our community simulated exams to complement their preparation so they could get ready for the big day. Many generations of grateful piano, organ, and theory students and their parents in our community have been the recipients of her devotion and dedication to music education. As a branch, we have recognized Marilyn's contribution by naming her an honorary branch member, and we are so pleased to be able to recognize her today and express our appreciation. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you. I should give one more call. Is Brooke Lee here? No? Thank you. Also bringing greetings was Marilyn's predecessor on organ here at MacKillop. Myrna Green sings in our choir and is unfortunately away today, not able to be with us. So greetings from Myrna Green from Deb Logan.
These are Myrna's words. Dear Marilyn, I am so very sorry that I am unable to be present to help celebrate your amazing 40 years as organist at MacKillop. I had been the somewhat reluctant organist for 11 years, and when we went on sabbatical to Indiana in 1982, and you took my place, I was thrilled, both for me and for the church. MacKillop finally had a real organist. For almost 40 years, you were incredibly dependable, almost never missing a service. You were the most amazing accompanist, always supporting the director and the choir, and we were gifted to the most wonderful organ offertories and postludes. I know you have taught piano to dozens, maybe even hundreds of students, many of whom have done extremely well, like our own John Paul. You seem to remember them all, and I loved hearing you speak of them with such fondness. For me, one of your most special gifts was getting to play organ and piano duets with you, which we did for countless services and on many other occasions. One of my favorite memories is of the concert for the dedication of the new organ in November of 1987, at which you treated us to a number of challenging and inspiring organ solos, and you and I played Hooked on Classics as an organ and piano duet. Both of our mothers attended and so enjoyed getting to know each other. Thank you, Marilyn, for your dedication and your talent, and for the special memories and wonderful music. Best wishes for a much-deserved, healthy, and happy retirement. Love, Myrna.
And in honor of the fine tradition of organ and piano duets here at MacKillop that Marilyn began, we welcome John Paul and Christine to the organ and piano to play Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring by J.S. Bach. Thank you, John, Paul, and Christine. And from Cochrane, a friend and colleague of Marilyn's, to bring tribute, Nathine Arthur.
Whoa, but you did not know I'd be singing. Hello, Marilyn. Hi. I'm not going to take too long. I don't know if your program was printed wrong or if we're just really late. But I just wanted to pay a short 2-minute tribute and then sing a little song for Marilyn today that is group involved. I am the one that got away. I am super impressed hearing all these accolades about and hearing the amazing music. But I married a forest ranger and we lived in northern Alberta away from the good influence of Marilyn. And at this point, I'm just going to say it'll be fun, but it won't be at that level. So I met Marilyn in 1974. Is anybody else here a student of Marilyn's at the University of Lethbridge? Okay, so she introduced me to people like Dr. Ken Hicken and Dean Blair, and sang in the choir with Malcolm Edwards. Marilyn was my mentor and inspiration. She was my first real piano teacher because I didn't start piano till I was 16. I came to university and switched my major after one course of music, and she guided me through my 7 and 8, came up to Whitecourt and played at our wedding in 76. And so I didn't even know what a music teacher was supposed to be. I'd never intended to be a music teacher. But when we moved to these little places and people go, "You can play piano? Can you teach our kids?" And I called Marilyn, or maybe I wrote a letter. It was expensive in those days to phone. But I phoned her and she says, "Get the books, just stay a few weeks ahead of the students and you'll do it," right? So she was brilliant. But you know, the Marilyn I remember is sparkling and saucy, and she had a keen sense of humor, and she was the first person I ever met from Saskatchewan. What? I always thought that was super cool. So I became a teacher. I eventually got my degree in 95, teaching piano and singing and theory. I'm also a church musician, and I am aspiring in your footsteps. I have played 4 weddings in one day. I have done 2 funerals in a day, but I've done 400 funerals, so I have to catch up to you just a little bit. Rick says I put the fun in funerals, whatever that means. But you know what? We just go with the flow, and I think I got it from you. Nothing scared Marilyn. I've never seen her afraid. She's calmly just said, "You can do it," and we just did. So she has a great ability to influence and inspire other people. I just wondering at this point, she always found a way. I'm just looking at my quick notes here. I think the biggest thing I would like to thank Marilyn for is the love for music that she always showed, vocal, piano, every kind of music, and the joy that she had in doing that. I've always felt that. And I thought over the last week or 2 before I came here, if I'd had a different kind of teacher at U of L, I don't think I would have continued. I really don't. So thank you very much. And Marilyn, I got this plaque. I'm just going to show it now, and then I'm going to do the song. How many of you know what this is? The Alberta Registered Music Teacher Association President's Plaque of the provincial presidents. And Marilyn, your name is on here 1995 to 1997, right there. And mine is down here at the bottom. So we share something else in common. We've been really involved with all these boards. So the song I wanted to do, and it's going to be outside of the box here just a bit, but what it reminded me of was, and can I do it here or should I go over there? Okay. So I did this at Heritage Park yesterday at our music marathon with our Calgary Armta, and it is a definite song where people can join in. How many of you know this song, The Last Saskatchewan Pirate? Oh, good. Okay. Please join in on the refrain with heave ho, hi ho, coming down the plains. So the reason I wanted to share this today with Marilyn is because she's a little bit of a pirate. I always remember her as just having that joy and energy and fun of music. So no, it won't be Bach or any of those other things, but I did want to share this. I'm going to turn this down here. Is that better? How's the guitar? Okay. So you guys weren't going to do that one. Was anybody else going to do that song? No, okay, good. Because this is a surprise. Well, I used to be a farmer and I made a living fine. I had a little stretch of land along the CP line. But times went by and though I tried, the money wasn't there. And bankers came and took my land and told me fair is fair. I looked for every kind of job, the answer always no. Higher now, they'd always laugh, we just let 20 go, ha ha. The government, they promised me a measly little sum, but I've got too much pride to end up just another bum. Then I thought, who gives a darn if all the jobs are gone? I'm gonna be a pirate on the river Saskatchewan. And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers bar your door when you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. Well, you think the local farmers would know that I'm at large, but just the other day I found an unprotected barge. I snuck up right behind them, and they were none the wiser. I rammed the ship and sank it, and I stole their fertilizer. Bridge outside of Moose Jaw spans a mighty river. Farmers cross in so much fear, their stomachs are a-quiver, 'cause they know that Captain Tractor's hiding in the bay. I'll jump the bridge and knock them cold and sail off with their hay. It's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers bar your doors. You see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. It's about a Mountie. Well, Mountie Bob, he chased me, he was always at my throat. He followed on the shorelines, 'cause he didn't own a boat. But cutbacks were coming and the Mountie lost his job. And now he's sailing with me and we call him Salty Bob. The swinging sword and selling bones in pleasant company. I never pay my income tax, forget the GST. Sailing down to Saskatoon, the terror of the sea. If you wanna reach the co-op, boy, you gotta get by me. And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers bar your door. You see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. Now it talks about Alberta here. Well, the pirate life's appealing, but you don't just find it here. I hear in North Alberta there's a band of buccaneers. They roam the Athabasca from Smith to Fort McKay, and you're gonna lose your Stetson if you have to pass their way. Well, winter's a-comin' and a chill is in the breeze. My pirate days are over once the river starts to freeze. I'll be back in springtime, but now I have to go. I hear there's lots of plundering down in New Mexico. And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers bar your doors. You see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. When you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. When you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shores. Arr. Thank you for the fun of music, Marilyn. Yeah, thank you so much. That was just awesome. And Saskatchewan is very proud to have you come from there. Thank you so much.
Well, that's two learning moments in one concert. I didn't know there were Saskatchewan pirates. Now we know. And our second last musical performance is multi-generational from the Sinclair family. I'll invite the family up to get their gear going. And John, Marilyn's elder son, has a presentation to make involving a plate. Oh, it's after the music. So music first, plate second. I'll take this opportunity to do some thank yous then. I want to thank Pat and Doreen for being our greeters at the door. And if you don't have your name tag, Marilyn insists on the name tags upstairs during the tea reception. So make sure you've got a nice bright name tag on so everybody knows who everybody else is. And I want to thank Jim McNally for doing all the sound setup and operating today. Thank you, Jim. I want to thank choir member Barb Ham for coordinating lots of people working on the luncheon upstairs. Thank you, Barb. And there's lots of food up there. I hope you're hungry. Maybe you can get an early supper. I want to thank my sister Di for doing all the flowers today, including this beautiful arrangement here. Thank you, Di. And I want to thank John Paul for all his work getting ready. He had a busy day today. He starts around 9 o'clock for church, and he's still going this afternoon. Thank you, John Paul. Okay, is that good, John?
Getting there.
I have one special presentation for Marilyn then. And Marilyn, the gift from our choir today is this event for you, the concert and the luncheon afterwards. But we have a card for you, and then we also have a very special presentation for you. John Paul and I found this kicking around. Third learning moment. You don't use street shoes on the organ. These are organ shoes. And we found some behind the organ, and we found some in the choir room. So Marilyn, from our choir, and by the way, this is a gag. I'm going to need the cupboard door back, okay? But here's a beautiful plaque for you of organ shoes and a card from the choir.
Jim, I'm a little concerned about the mic height, man. Today's one of those?
And we'll pass it over to Marilyn's family for some tunes here.
Yeah. So, Mom, 40 years. You serviced here at this church. You were, what we figured out, the longest standing member of this entire universe called the McKillop United Church. 40 years. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. So half of us, this is my brother Gabe on drums. Give him a hand, it's okay. It's our friend Mel. We had our Mel on guitar. This is my nephew Michael, Gabe's son over here. So literally doing a family thing. And as family things go, we had our first rehearsal at 10 o'clock this morning, so. I wouldn't say expect miracles, but hey, my brother's working with me. Let me do it again. Package of fish. There we go. All right, so we're just going to start off nice and easy because you don't want me yelling at you till at least the third song. That's when it gets a little louder. And I'm just going to let you boys kick it in.
go, babe. 'Cause I've had nothing to live for. It looks like nothing's gonna come my way. I'll just sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 other tell me people what to do, so I guess I'll just remain the same. Just sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles I've roamed just to make this dock my home. I'll just sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away. I sit on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 other people tell me what to do, so I guess I'll just remain the same. Oh, sitting here minding my days. I'll be sitting till the end of my ways, just watching the waves crashing. Looks like I'm gonna stay away again. Well, I'll just sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away. I'll sit on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I'm not whistling, forget it. Oh. This next song gets loud. I don't need no stinking microphone. Walking on the moon. Well, my legs are big, walking on the moon. We can walk forever, walking on the moon. We could be together, walking on the moon. Walking back from your house, walking on the moon. Walking back from your house, walking on the moon. My feet don't hardly make no sound, walking on the moon. Feet they hardly touch the ground, walking on the moon. wishing my days away. No way. I live for some price I pay. Some say tomorrow's another day. You say I may as well play. A giant steps are what you take, walking on the moon. Well, I hope my brain don't break, thinking about your moon. We could walk forever, walking on the moon. We could be together, walking on the moon. Some may say I'm wishing my days away. No way. I live for some price I pay. Some say tomorrow's another day. You say I may as well play. Keep it up. I keep it up. I keep it up. I keep it up. Yo, 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 yo. 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 Walking on the moon.
Our friend Mel's gonna play some singing and guitar for you. Sorry, Uncle Mel.
Yeah, I know John Paul. Go get your hopes up. It's true. Or Christine. Hiding behind. Yeah, of course, behind the can. There we go. All right, give it to him, my friend.
Nazareth, I was feeling about half past 10. I just need to find a place where I can rest my head. Say, listen, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? He just grinned and shook my head. Knows all he said. Well, take the Lord of Fanny. Take a load for free. Well, take a load of Fanny. Hey, hey, you put the load right on me. I packed up my bags. I went looking for a place to hide. When I saw Carmen and the devil walking side by side, I said, hey, Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. but my friends can't stick around. Well, take a load off Fanny, take a load for free, take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. Miss Moses, there's nothing you can say. It's just old Luke, and Luke's waiting on the judgment day. Well, Luke, my friend, what about Anna Lee? She says, do a favor for me, son, won't you keep Anna Lee company? Well, take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Well, take a load off Fanny, and put the load right on me. Crazy tries to follow me, and he caught me in the fog. He said, I'll fix your rap if you take my jack dog. I said, wait a minute, Mr. Chester, you know I'm a peaceful man. He said, that's okay, boy, won't you feed him when you can? Well, take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Well, take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. Well, catch a cannonball, now take me on down the line. My day is sinking low, but I do believe it's time to get back to Miss Fanny. You know, she's the only one. She sent me here to give regards for everyone. Well, take a load off Fanny, take a load for free, take a load off Fanny, and right on me, yeah you do. Thank you. There's a lot of love in this building.
Winter song, right? I love when your band is like, sure. Mom, how we doing? Can we play our next party? Can we play your next birthday party? I'm failing, Mom. Work with me. I'm making a joke with you. See, this is why I have my back to the audience sometimes when I'm singing. If I don't see it coming, I can't hurt, right? Where are we here? Come on.
I'm on it.
Got it?
Got it.
All right. We're cheaters. All right.
Someone told me long ago there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. Never know, and so they say it'll rain a sunny day. I I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Yesterday and days before, sun is cold and rain is hot. I know it's been that way for all my time. Till the bell, but on it goes through the circles, fast and slow. I know I can't stop. I wonder. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? All right, so on the program, wait, you guys stay here. On the program, it says we're Sinclair Family Music, but I decided we need a better name than that, so that's my head. We're now called Meljoga Mike. Even they hate it. I knew it wasn't gonna work. All right, we have a presentation to make. John Paul, you still behind me? Boy, you guys are a hard room, man. Sheesh. Wait for it, it's worth it. All right. So Mom wanted me to read this to you because it's something special. It's been in her life for, 30, 40 years? Something like that? Okay. So my mom, when she grew up learning piano, her piano teacher was Miss B from the Regina Conservatory. That was in the early 1960s. Now, at one point, she had gone to a trust company to make out her will, just in case something happens, in advance of her possible demise, to ask how to disperse the contents of her home to some of her former students. Mom was one of them. Some of the other students got fur coats, pianos, or china. And this all came, so she got a call 6 months after B had passed from another teacher named Gordon Wallace. And he's asked her to meet him at the Lethbridge Airport. Didn't give her any other reasons than that. Just show up at the Lethbridge Airport this time, I got something for you. So when she got there, he presented her with this. A porcelain plate that had been her family for a long time. So, let's just say this. So Gordon flew in and he flew back. That's all he did. He just came to deliver Mom this plate. Now, it hasn't been officially called this, but we're kind of calling it the legacy gift, right? Because it's his legacy of your teacher to you. So he came to deliver Mom's assigned legacy gift, this plate that I'm holding. Now, today, we're passing it on to a young man named John Paul. Shozak, please come forward. Give John Paul a great big hand.
Without further ado, I'm going to turn it back to Ken and the choir. We'll keep all that together.
Thanks, Mel. Thank you for that multi-generational legacy of music. And we have one more music selection in our concert this afternoon. And it's got a bit of a legacy too. Marilyn, Choral Benediction by Don Bessig. Can you count how many times you played it for us? Yes, it's got to be hundreds of times Marilyn played this piece for us, for our congregation. So today, Marilyn, we've flipped the words a little bit in this piece. It's called a Choral Benediction, and it's asking God to smile on Marilyn and bring peace and love to Marilyn. So from our choir, from McKillop, to you, Marilyn, for your incredible legacy here at McKillop, we offer you this blessing, this choral benediction. Thank you for coming, and we'll follow Marilyn and her family out. Our reception is cutting to your right across the courtyard. Head upstairs to our upper hall. There's an elevator if you need. Washrooms are at the top of the stairs on your right. And if you need a washroom immediately, they're in this hallway on the other side of this wall here. So we hope you can join us for some goodies and some sandwiches.